What if doing nothing could change everything? Sounds strange, doesn't it? We've been told our entire lives that success, happiness, and peace come from doing more, from working harder, planning every step, and staying in control. But what if Carl Jung was right when he said, "What you resist persists"? Think about it. How many times have you tried to fix something in your life by forcing it? A relationship, a decision, your future. You try, push, plan, overthink, and yet nothing seems to fall into place. It's like the harder you try to hold on, the more life slips through your fingers. But here's the secret Jung hinted at. There's a hidden intelligence beneath the surface of your life, something that begins to move only when you stop forcing movement. So what if just for today you stopped doing and simply watched? What if stillness itself was the missing piece? Stay with me to the end of this video, because once you understand this truth, you'll never see doing nothing the same way again. And before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe if you love exploring Carl Jung's timeless insights about the mind and soul. That we live in a world obsessed with action. We're taught that if you're not moving, you're falling behind. If you're not busy, you're not enough. The message is everywhere. Hustle harder. Grind more. Don't stop. But look closer. People are exhausted. We scroll endlessly, chase achievements, set goals, and still feel an emptiness we can't explain. Our minds race faster than our lives. We wake up tired, sleep restless, and still tell ourselves, "I need to do more." Imagine this. A person working day and night to make their dream career happen. They push every door, send every message, take every opportunity. But the more they force it, the more everything feels stuck. The calls go unanswered. The inspiration dries up. The energy fades. Or someone searching for love, try to be perfect, saying the right things, always trying to make it work. And yet, the more they chase, the further it runs. Now pause. What if they simply stopped? What if instead of chasing, they allowed? Instead of fixing, they trusted? Keep watching, because in the next part, you'll discover what Carl Jung believed truly happens when you stop fighting the current of life, and how the moment you surrender, life quietly begins to arrange itself for you. And hey, if this message already feels like a breath of calm in your day, hit subscribe. There's more truth ahead that could shift how you see everything. Carl Jung believed that deep within every person lies an inner intelligence far greater than the conscious mind, something he called the unconscious. It's not just a dark place of forgotten memories. It's a living, breathing energy that's always trying to guide us back into balance. Jung called this lifelong journey of returning to wholeness individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are beneath all your masks. But here's the problem. Most of us never allow that process to unfold naturally. We try to think our way to peace. We try to force clarity. We fight with what we feel, trying to be something we're not ready to become yet. Jung said that the more the conscious ego fights the unconscious, the more tension we create. And that tension becomes suffering. Doing nothing, then, isn't about apathy. It's not giving up. It's about trust. Trusting that there's something wiser than your plans at work beneath the surface. When you stop trying to control every detail, you create space for your deeper self to rise. Think about those moments in life when things just fell into place. You didn't plan it, you didn't force it, yet somehow everything aligned. That's the unconscious moving into harmony with your life. It's the same intelligence that sends you dreams, gut feeling synchronicities, those strange coincidences that feel too meaningful to ignore. Maybe you were meant to be here right now, listening to this message. Maybe this is one of those moments. So don't rush to fix anything. Just stay, watch, allow, because in that stillness, your soul begins to breathe again. If this resonates with you, remember to subscribe, not for me, but for yourself. Every week, we explore the truths Jung left behind to help you trust your inner journey a little more. Keep watching till the end, because the next part reveals why it's so hard to let go, and how your mind secretly resists peace even when you crave it most. The ego loves control. It wants to be the driver, the planner, the one steering the ship. It believes that if it just keeps its hands tight on the wheel, life will go exactly as it should. But here's the truth Jung understood. The ego is a terrible captain for an infinite sea. Imagine your life as an ocean, vast, deep, and full of unseen currents. The ego sits on a small ship, gripping the wheel, shouting orders into the fog. It wants clear direction, calm water, and predictable weather. But the sea, the unconscious, moves by its own rhythm. It doesn't care about your schedules, your fears, or your timelines. It knows where to take you. If only you'd stop fighting the waves. And yet, the moment we lose control, fear rises. We panic. We overthink. We try to grab onto something familiar, because letting go feels like drowning, even though it's actually floating. The irony is beautiful. The harder we fight to stay in control, the more lost we feel. And the moment we surrender, everything begins to make sense again. Maybe control was never the point. Maybe the real path begins when the ego finally admits, I don't know. Because that's when something deeper, something wiser, begins to guide the ship. Take a slow breath. Let go just a little. Notice how your shoulders drop, your heartbeat slows, your thoughts soften. That's the feeling of life taking over where you left off. Stay with this video till the end, because in the next part, we'll explore what happens when you truly stop interfering, when you let silence do the work for you. And if this message feels like something your soul needed to hear, make sure you're subscribed. There's more ahead, and it's about to get even more revealing. There was once a man who tried everything to make his life work. He chased opportunities, forced relationships, worked harder than anyone else. But the more he tried to build his future, the more it fell apart. Every door closed. Every plan failed. Eventually, he reached a point of exhaustion. One evening, he just sat in silence. No plans, no goals, no trying, just quiet. Days passed, then weeks. Something strange happened. The phone rang, a call he wasn't expecting, offering him a chance he never planned for. The relationship he was forcing to work naturally faded. And soon after, he met someone who felt effortless to be around. The stress that once filled his days slowly melted away. It wasn't magic. It was alignment. Jung called this process the emergence of the self, the inner organizing center of the psyche. When the conscious mind finally stops fighting, the self begins to guide life from a background, stitching together the pieces that once seemed scattered. The psyche heals in silence, just as the body heals when you stop touching a wound. The moment you stop interfering, your deeper intelligence begins to restore balance. Stillness isn't confusion. It's clarity finally having room to breathe. But most people never reach this moment because they're too busy trying to fix everything. Maybe you've been there, anxious, restless, constantly searching for the next answer. What if you didn't have to? What if silence was already solving what your mind couldn't? Don't click away. In the next part, we'll uncover how this healing happens inside you and why your simple awareness is the most powerful medicine you've ever had. And if you're finding a sense of calm in these words, take a second to subscribe, because what's coming next might just change how you handle every emotion you feel. Carl Jung often said that awareness itself transforms. He called it a kind of inner alchemy, turning lead into gold, not outside in the world, but within the mind. Most of us try to change ourselves by reacting, by pushing away pain, escaping discomfort, or pretending we're fine. But Jung believed the real transformation begins when you simply observe. When you stop fighting your emotions, stop judging your thoughts, and instead just watch them with honesty. That moment when you witness yourself instead of controlling yourself, something changes. The emotion loses its grip. The thought loses its power. The shadow begins to soften. Because awareness is light, and the moment light touches the darkness can no longer rule you. Try this. The next time you feel anger, sadness, or fear, don't rush to fix it. Sit with it. Notice where it lives in your body. Watch it like a curious observer. You might realize that the feeling starts to move, to shift, to dissolve, all on its own. That's the psyche healing itself through consciousness. It's not a fight, it's an allowing. Jung called this active imagination, a process of witnessing your inner world unfold without interference. The observer within you, calm, aware, unreactive, is the true healer. You don't need to fix every emotion. You just need to see it clearly. So don't rush to the next video. Stay with this one to the end, because we're about to go even deeper into the mysterious moments Jung called synchronicities, when your inner world and outer life suddenly begin to mirror each other in ways that seem almost magical. If you're still here, You're already walking the path Jung spoke of, the path where awareness turns chaos into meaning. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because what's about to unfold might just help you see your entire life through a new lens. Carl Jung had a beautiful word for life's quiet miracles: synchronicity. He described it as meaningful coincidences, moments when your inner state and the outer world suddenly line up, almost as if life itself is speaking directly to you. You probably felt it before when you think of someone and they call you out of nowhere, when you randomly open a book and find the exact words you needed to hear, or when you miss one opportunity only to find out later it would have led you somewhere wrong. That's not luck. That's alignment. Jung believed synchronicities are signs that your inner and outer worlds have started to move together, that the unconscious and conscious parts of your being are finally in dialogue. But here's the secret. They appear only when you stop chasing, when you stop forcing outcomes. You leave space for life's intelligence to breathe. It's like standing in the middle of a forest. If you keep running, you hear nothing but your own footsteps. But the moment you stop, suddenly the forest comes alive. The birds, the wind, the faint rhythm of nature all around you. Life speaks in stillness. When you do nothing, you don't disconnect, you tune in. You allow the current of life to guide you where you were always meant to be. The people you meet, the timing of events, the words that reach you, they begin to fit like pieces of a puzzle you're never meant to solve through effort. Maybe you're noticing it already. Little signs that show up after moments of calm, answers that come only when you stop searching. That synchronicity at work. And if you're curious to learn how this flow connects to something even deeper, something Jung saw as the bridge between psychology and spirituality, stay till the end. Because in the next part, we'll explore the true spiritual side of doing nothing, and how surrendering is actually the beginning of real power. If you haven't yet, take a moment to subscribe. It helps you stay connected to messages like this one, the kind that find you right when you need them most. That I am the quietest corners of Jung's writings. You'll find something profoundly spiritual. He saw the psyche not as a mechanical system, but as a reflection of something sacred, something divine that lives within each of us. Doing nothing, in this sense, becomes an act of faith. It's not about passivity. It's about surrender. A surrender not to failure, but to flow. Jung often admired the wisdom of the East, especially the Taoist idea of Wu Wei, which means effortless action. It teaches that the best way to move through life is not by force, but by harmony. You act when it feels right. You rest when it's time to pause. You stop fighting the river, and you begin to flow with it. Surrender is not weakness. It's recognition that you were never separate from life's intelligence to begin with. The self, God, the source, whatever name you give it, is already guiding you. When you stop pushing, you start listening. When you stop controlling, you start connecting. So don't rush to act. Don't rush to know. Let life reveal itself to you. The art of doing nothing is the art of remembering that everything sacred happens in its own time. And in the final part of this video, stay with me, because we'll bring everything together with a reflection you'll want to carry along after this video ends. If this has touched you, subscribe, because the next few moments might just change how you see surrender, peace, and your connection with life itself. So maybe after all this time, peace was never about doing more. It was about doing less. Maybe life was never waiting for your effort, but for your trust. Stop resisting. Stop forcing. Just observe. Let things unfold in their own rhythm. For the next few days, try something different. Do nothing intentionally. Don't rush to fix, to decide, to prove. Simply notice what happens when you let life move on its own. You might be surprised by how naturally everything starts to align. The right words, the right people, the right moments, all appearing at the exact time they're meant to. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Perhaps doing nothing is how we finally make that unconscious visible, by giving it the silence it needs to speak. So for now, do nothing. Just watch. You'll see, everything begins to fall into place. If this message spoke to something deep within you, subscribe, stay connected, and keep walking this path of awareness with me. Because sometimes the smallest pause leads to the biggest awakening.